now that we've seen how to retrieve basic date and time information in Python, let's take a look at how to format that information using a set of predefined string formatting codes. So in my editor, I'm going to open up the formatting start example. Now in this example, I've already set up the import statement to import the date-time class, so you don't need to do that. And Python provides a standard set of string formatting codes that you can use in a variety of scenarios. Now, if you've ever done any programming in C or C++ and used the standard C library, some of these codes might look familiar to you. If not, they're pretty easy to understand once you've seen them in action. So let's start with a familiar piece of code to get the current date and time. So I'm going to create a variable called now, and I'm going to call datetime.now. So now I've got the current date and time. Let's have a look at some of the options I have available to me to format the output. So to format date information, you use what's called the stirftime function, which is available as a method on the datetime object that's returned by the now function. So let's go ahead and just try that out. All right, I'm going to print now.stirftime. This function takes a string argument that contains one or more of these formatting codes, and we'll get to that in a second, which function as placeholders for date and time data. So for example, to format a string with the full year number, I could use something like this. I would write the current year is, and then %y, right? So let's go ahead and run what we have so far. And in the output, you can see that the current year is 2021. Now, I can also mix these codes with regular text. So let's get a little bit more fancy. I'll close this right here. And what I'm going to do is use several of the codes in the same string at once. So let's go ahead and copy this and paste it. And I'm going to use %a. And %a, you can see here in the comment, means the weekday. So I'll do %a, comma, then %d. And you can see %d is the day of the month. And then I'll do space with %B, and the capital is important there, all right? And the capital B means the month, so I'm going to capitalize it. And then after %B, I'll put in a comma and put %lowercase y, okay? And you can see that lowercase y and uppercase y are the year, and we'll see what the lowercase and uppercase does in just a moment, all right? So this formatting string will print the abbreviated day name, followed by the day of the month, then the full month name, which is what the capital means, and then the 2-digit abbreviated year. So let's go ahead and try that. And sure enough, you can see that that's exactly what happens right here on this line. Python also gives you a way of printing out locale-specific information. So rather than having to manually figure out the specific locale your application is being run in and how to print out information using the current localized versions of date and times, there's a set of codes to do that for you. So I'll enter some code to try that out. So let's try printing now.stirtime. And we're going to write locale, date, and time. And that's going to be %c. And we copy and paste that. And then just doing the locale date by itself, that's going to be %lowercase x. And I'll copy and paste this one more time. And I'll do locale time, and that's going to be uppercase x. All right, let's go ahead and give that a try. Right, and sure enough, you can see that the locale date and time is printed using my local computer settings. You can see that because I'm in the US, I've got month, day, and year separated by slashes, and the local time is 22 hours, 48 minutes, and 29 seconds. Now, if I was running this on a computer in, say, Europe, then the information you see printed here would probably look a little bit different based upon what the locale settings are. So I've got the month first, the day second, so on, but other countries put the day and the month, right? So the control codes C and X and uppercase X allow you to use whatever the current locale supporting format is for dates and times. All right, so let's close this example. Let's finish up with a look at time formatting. So just the same way that you can print formatted date information, you can print formatted time information as well. So I'm going to add a couple of lines here to exercise these options. So I'll print now.stirtime. And this time I'll write out the current time. And I'll use %uppercase I, and that's for the hour, and then a colon, and then %m, uppercase M for the minute, and then a colon, and then %s, uppercase S for the second. And then I'll put a space and a %lowercase p, and that's going to be the AM or the PM. And then I'll do one more, and this time I'll do 24-hour time. And in this case, instead of the I, I'll do uppercase %h and just the M, and I'll take off the S and the P. All right, so let's go ahead and save, and let's run this. And now you can see that I'm controlling how the time is formatted. So for the current time, I've got 10:50:30 p.m., and then for the 24-hour time, I've got 22:50. Now, if this were the morning, this would print out a 24-hour based value, so this value would be less than 12. So for example, it would be 9 for 9 o'clock in the morning. So if you find yourself needing to print formatted date and time data, Python provides some pretty rich controls for accomplishing these scenarios. And of course, you don't need to keep all of these codes in your head. There's some great documentation on supported codes are and how they work. So let's switch over to the browser really quickly, and if you go to this link here in the Python documentation, you can see all these different codes that are listed that you can use for formatting date and time related information.